She said, "Stop acting like we're married. You don't get a say in where I go or who I'm with." Everyone laughed. I just smiled and stayed quiet. But when she came back from her weekend away, her key didn't work, and the neighbor told her exactly why. My girlfriend Jessica had lived in my house for 6 months, eating my food, using my Wi-Fi, and treating my place like a stage for her independence. I paid the mortgage, utilities, and groceries. She contributed nothing but opinions and lectures about my controlling behavior. The breaking point came when she announced a weekend trip with her 3 best friends, the Harpies. "The girls and I are going to the lake," she said, already dressed to leave. "Don't wait up." I was making dinner and casually asked which lake. Jessica stared like I'd asked for her passwords, then turned to Tiffany, who had wandered into my kitchen, uninvited. "Can you believe him?" Jessica said, rolling her eyes. "He wants to know where I'm going." Tiffany scoffed. Jessica delivered the line, "Stop acting like we're married. You don't get a say in where I go or who I'm with." They laughed. I stood there with a wooden spoon dripping sauce on the floor, and something clicked. The part of my brain trying to make this relationship work packed up and left. I smiled. "You're absolutely right. My mistake." They swept out. The moment Jessica's car disappeared Friday afternoon, I got to work. First stop, my neighbor, Mrs. Gable, an 80-year-old widow with porch cameras on every angle. I brought lemon cake and explained Jessica's line. By the end, she was patting my hand with purpose. "What's my line?" she asked. I gave her a script for when Jessica returned and found herself locked out. Next came Operation Bachelor Pad. For 6 months, my house had been a sea of beige pillows, decorative bowls, and abstract art that looked unfinished. I didn't just pack Jessica's things, I curated them. Her clothes went into boxes labeled fancy outfits I'm not invited to, and magic sparkly dresses that shed glitter. Her 37 near-identical heels became a podiatrist's nightmare. Saturday morning, movers hauled everything to a storage unit. I paid for 1 month. Then the fun part. The beige rug became astroturf like a football field. The sterile white couch became a gigantic black recliner with more cup holders than guests we ever had. The minimalist coffee table was replaced by a vintage pinball machine. My masterpiece was Gus, a 120-pound St. Bernard, who immediately claimed the recliner and fell asleep. Sunday evening, I changed every password. The new Wi-Fi network was get your own Wi-Fi. Password, not married lol. I installed a new deadbolt and took a long, quiet breath in a house that finally sounded like mine. At 9 p.m., the doorbell camera caught Jessica returning. She tried her key. It stopped at the deadbolt. She pounded and called my phone. I watched it buzz on the pinball machine and hit decline. After 10 minutes, Mrs. Gable appeared with a watering can. "Oh, Jessica, dear," she called. "Tom's had the most wonderful weekend. He told me the good news. You two aren't married. He said he doesn't get a say in anything you do, so he decided to celebrate his freedom." Jessica froze. "He redecorated," Mrs. Gable added. "Very rugged. And he got a dog, a great big boy named Gus. He wanted a companion who's loyal and doesn't talk back." Jessica pressed her face to the glass, the football rug, the pinball machine, a giant snoring dog where her throw blanket used to live. Her phone lit up our chat with all caps essays. I sent one message. "You said to stop acting like we're married and that I don't get a say. I agree. This is my house, and you don't get a say in how I live in it. Your property is at 123 Storage Way, Unit 42, code 1234. 1 month." Then I blocked her number. Predictably, social media lit up with posts about men who can't handle strong, independent women. I posted before and after photos with the caption, "Redecorated to match my relationship status. Was told we're not married and I don't get a say, so I'm embracing my freedom." The context traveled and the narrative flipped. She tried legal action. My lawyer replied with the mortgage, the title with only my name, and a question about whether she'd like to reimburse 6 months of rent, utilities, and groceries as a non-married person with no obligations. Silence. A month later at the dog park, Chardonnay, Harpy number 3, approached. "Hey, Tom, we were out of line," she said, watching Gus try to fit 3 tennis balls in his mouth. "Jessica said what she said," I answered. I took her at her word. "Honestly," she said, "it looks like you're doing fine." She was right. The house isn't a beige prison anymore. It's mine. The pinball machine barely works, but it's a great conversation piece, and Gus is the best roommate I've ever had.